everyone. My name's Richard Howell. I go by Lee, though. Today I interviewed Matt Wells. He also goes by the nickname Monk, and so you may kind of see where I'm going here. If you're familiar with a lot of the local restaurants here in town, there's a place affectionately known as Monk's that's right there off of Mission and Tharp. It's technically called Wells Brothers now, and I'll get a little bit more into that. They also own Midtown Caboose. He runs that with his brother Adam Wells. And it's a combined between both restaurants, they have about 110 employees. So I met up with them earlier this morning, July 8th, around 8:30, and spent a few minutes with them just kind of figuring out what is behind the success of Midtown Caboose and Monk's, and both of them are running it together as family members, and I think you'll find some really interesting information, and hopefully anybody who's interested in opening a similar restaurant or any kind of endeavor can learn from these lessons that they've taken away from both restaurants. Definitely have taken what they learned from in Monk's and built upon that at Midtown Caboose. But I think you'll find this very interesting, and I hope you enjoy it. I've known Monk for about 4 or 5 years now. We met through his wife, who is a co-worker with my wife at Leon County Schools. When we found out her husband owned Monk's, we were so excited because we had been going there for years before we had all known each other. About a year after we had gotten to know one another, Matt's wife announced her pregnancy with their daughter, Reagan. I'm the owner of a wedding and portrait photography business here in town called Rhowell Photography, and so we ended up spending a lot of time together photographing her maternity progression, newborn photos, birthday parties, and all sorts of other fun events once Reagan arrived. This also roughly coincided with about the same time that Matt and Adam began to undertake the endeavor of transforming what once was Paradise Bar and Grill into the now wildly successful Midtown Caboose. In the next few minutes of footage here, you will get to hear from Monk himself what led him down this path, and how the success of Wells Brothers paved the way for the development of Midtown Caboose. All right, well, thanks, Matt, for letting me do this.
No problem.
Pick your brain. So tell me a little bit about yourself before Monk's came along, like what got you into cooking and food.
Oh, I started working in the restaurant business when I was 14 or 13. My mom was managing a place in Michigan, and I started as a busboy.
Yeah.
And then I pizza cook, line cook, server, bartender. I worked there all through high school.
Yeah.
And then even a little bit after high school.
Okay.
And that just kind of led to more jobs in the industry when I left.
Yeah.
Right before Monk's, I was managing a place in Greensboro, North Carolina, for about 7 years. It was a pretty similar concept to Monk's.
Yeah. So you guys formally are called Wells Brothers at Monk's, even though everybody knows it as Monk's. How did that
That was a lesson that we learned, and when we opened, we searched the Florida database to pick a DBA, which we picked Monk's, because that was my nickname at the time. It still is.
Right.
And it was granted to us, so we were new business owners. We didn't look any farther.
Right.
And it turned out that there's another Monk's Bar and Grill in Wisconsin, and they had 2 restaurants. They were actually pretty similar in concept. It was burgers and beers, and we were burgers and beers.
Right.
But they had a nationwide patent on the name, which doesn't pop up when you search a state database for some reason.
Right.
And we really had no option other than to pay them, which is what they wanted, was for us to pay them.
Right.
It wasn't worth it. At that point, we were already so established that we changed the sign and we changed the name, and it never skipped a beat.
Right. Yeah. I think everybody just kind of, no matter what,
people still call it Monk's.
Right. Exactly. How would you say your day-to-day operations here run in terms of staffing in both restaurants, and how you and Adam are involved in that process?
Well, they both run about the same. We open at 11 at both places. The cooks will generally show up at 8, sometimes earlier, maybe on Friday morning, because deliveries come before that. But it's anywhere from 4 to 7 cooks will show up at 8 a.m. to start prepping the food. You know, almost everything that we serve is made here, so they need to. You know, it takes a long time to get food hot and make bacon and make various other things. You know, chili, salsa, pasta salad, whatever you might need. And then at 10, the servers come in, usually 3 to 5, just depending on what day it is.
Right.
And they take about an hour to get ready, set up, make sure the floor is clean, make sure the bathrooms are clean, get the daily special boards written, just get it ready to go.
Yeah.
As far as where Adam and I come into play, he mostly does behind the scenes stuff. He pays all the bills. He does the banking. He gets the permits. He basically keeps us open, doing stuff that nobody sees anybody do.
Right.
I, on the other hand, when I am working shifts, it's mostly in the kitchen and mostly at night.
Yeah.
So when we open, I'm not here, but we have other managers in place that have been with us for a long time and know what they're doing, and we trust them.
Yeah. And some of those came from Monks to help you guys open Caboose here.
Yeah, we did bring a couple people from Monks. The manager that I have here now at the Caboose, I managed in Atlanta, bred with him here before we ever opened Monks. So I've been working with him for almost a decade as manager.
Have you ever had to handle any internal or external theft from either business?
A little bit, and it's just termination immediately.
Yeah. So many restaurants come and go in Tallahassee. What do you think makes Monks in Midtown a success that separates them from everybody else?
I like to say I don't know, but I mean I do and I don't know. For some reason, we just immediately were popular. We were hit. Monks almost immediately became like the staple place for FSU students to go to. A lot of it is we have really good food, and I'll eat all over town, and it's hard to find really good food. And the last couple of years, there've been a lot of new restaurants open, and it is getting better. But man, it was dry when I moved here. It was hard to go out to eat.
I'll agree.
And going to somewhere that wasn't high end, where you were spending $20 to $25. If you went somewhere else, it was just tough to find quality food.
Right.
And it's competitively priced. We have huge portions. A female college student that goes there is getting 2 meals every time.
Right. Right.
Unless they're just really hungry. I think atmosphere, quality food, and it's just different. Our menus are huge. They offer a variety of things that are creative. Monks, you can build your own burger, which allows them to get as creative as you want.
Right.
And you can go to some other places and build your own, but they have like 5 choices.
Right.
We have, I think it's like 9 million different combinations that you could build at Monks.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah. What would you say is the best piece of advice you could give someone going into business for themselves?
That everything falls on you. Like it has to fall on you. You have to drive the business to succeed. You have to be the eyes on the people that you have working for you. You have to make sure that they're doing things your way, and that your way is actually the right way. You can't just be like, this is my way, but your way sucks.
Right.
You have to figure out yourself what works, and then spread that to your employee base. And at the same time, be fair with them so they respect you. It just, everything falls back on you. You have to know that it's you, it's your business. That's why you went into business for yourself.
Right.
And I think a lot of people are like, oh, I want to go into business myself so I can be my own boss. But then they're not willing to put in the work that it takes, and it doesn't succeed.
Yeah. Our interview went on for about 30 minutes, and it was kind of difficult for me to decide which questions to include and which ones to cut. So what I have here is a 10-minute video, and if you'd like to see more, there's about 25 minutes total, and you're welcome to follow the link below to check out the rest.